Hello, grade 4s, and welcome to another science lesson. Today we'll be recapping chapter 6, lessons 1 to 6. In lesson 1, we looked at how minerals are classified. So there are 6 ways of classifying minerals. You need to understand those classifications. In lesson 2, there are 3 ways to classify rocks, and you need to understand how to classify those rocks. In lesson number 3, we look at what is weathering and erosion. In lesson number 4, we will look at how Earth's surface can change rapidly. And then lesson number 5 is where is Earth's water. And then in lesson number 6, we will look at what the water cycle is all about. So lesson number 1, how to classify minerals. So as we said, there are 6 ways of classifying minerals. The first one is to look at the color. So each mineral has a specific color, and what it looks like is the type of mineral it is. So if we look at gold, we know gold is a goldish color. Or if we look at tungsten, it has a silver color. Secondly is luster, how the mineral reflects light. So gold is a very golden color, but reflects light as a shiny metal. But diamonds absorb the light and shows as a very beautiful glass-like structure. Number 3 is the shape. So each mineral has a different crystal shape. So looking directly at the crystal shape, we can identify what type of mineral it is. Number 4 is the cleavage. Now, cleavage is where the mineral breaks at a specific plane when you put pressure on it. So those are weak points in the mineral. Then number 5 is the hardness, how easy the mineral scratches a softer mineral. The hardest substance that we know is diamond, and talc will be the softest, and each mineral in between that is softer than diamond or harder than talc. For example, quartz is softer than a diamond, so quartz can easily be scratched by diamonds. Then we look at the streak. Now, streak is the mark it leaves behind when you scratch a mineral on a specific piece of paper. You need to know and understand all 6 of these classifications for your tests. So lesson number 2 is how rocks are classified. So there are 3 types of rocks. First of all, we get igneous rock, which comes from directly from magma that either cools very quickly or very slowly. Then secondly is sedimentary rock that has few layers of sediments on it. And then thirdly is the metamorphic rock that has been changed due to Earth's heat and pressure. Now, in the process, this rocks can be explained by the process of the rock cycle. So rocks come from magma. Any type of rock comes from magma. It gets pushed up through the tectonical plates that move them, and volcanoes form. Out of these volcanoes, rocks spew out, and that is igneous rock. Now, igneous rock can then be weathered down or be eroded away. Now, we will, in the next lessons, talk about what erosion and weathering is. So that sediment gets deposited downhill and laid in oceans or bodies of water. Through many years, the sediments build up and sedimentary rock form. Now, due to heat from the magma and pressure from the above rocks, metamorphic rock form. So lesson number 3, what is weathering and erosion? So Earth's surface consists of a crust that is flooded by water. So land masses is affected by the weathering. So you get 2 types of weathering, chemical weathering and physical weathering. So chemical weathering is where acid rain and chemicals in rocks change their composition due to water that flows on top of them. In this example, we can see that the statue has lost most of its features due to chemical weathering. Then physical weathering. Physical weathering is where water and wind can physically split apart a rock. Erosion. Erosion is where water carries sediments away from the Earth's surface to other places. This is due to loose soil and rain and water that interact with one another. Deposit is where that sediment or that earth gets deposited somewhere else. Let's go to lesson number 4, Earth's moving plates or tectonical plates as we know them. So on Earth, we know that it is not a solid ball, but is in layers. So the Earth's crust flows or freely flows on the moving magma on the bottom. So this is an example of where the tectonical plates are on Earth's surface. So volcanoes form when these plates move next to each other or towards each other or past each other, causing magma to move to the surface. Now, most volcanoes are found on these tectonical plates. So volcanoes can change Earth's surface rapidly due to it erupting. When it erupts, like the example here in Mount St. Helens, where most of the Earth has moved or been blown out, and volcanic ash and pressures within the Earth's system changed the whole face of this mountain, blowing away trees, moving away rock, moving away that whole mountain. And this is a very dramatic example. Earthquakes occur in 3 different stages: divergent, moving away from one another; convergent, moving towards one another; and transform, moving past one another. So these plates move in different directions. And this is an example of a divergent earthquake, or a dramatic version of a divergent earthquake. Then a third way is landslides, where loose soil gets transported or moved due to heavy rains that loosen the soil and then can cause a lot of damage. Floods is also a way of transforming one land surface or Earth's surface due to a lot of rain that falls down. Usually this is not permanent. Then droughts, also not permanent, but through a change in weather systems, we can see that the Earth can change its surface by losing all the vegetation on the surface. Lesson number 5, where is Earth's water? So water on Earth, we know that 3/4 of Earth's surface is covered in water and 1/4 is in land mass. So if we represented it like this, we can see that that's why it's the blue planet. So 3/4 or 3 parts of the Earth's surface is covered in water. So that is 97% of it is salt water, and only 3%, which is a very small amount, is fresh water. This fresh water can be found in rivers, lakes, and underground. So what is the water cycle? Lesson number 6. So the water cycle is where water gets recycled all the time, which means we use water over and over. So the water cycle starts by a collection of water, which is called a body of water. Then it evaporates due to the sun's heat and condensates in the Earth's surface or in the atmosphere, and then precipitates. So the water cycle starts by storage: lakes, rivers, and oceans. Not underground water, because underground water cannot be heated and does not evaporate due to the sun's heat. That evaporation is where water gets pulled up by the sun in a gas form. So when we look at this picture, we can see the steam rising from the earth or from the water. The condensation is small droplets of cool water that forms in the atmosphere, forming clouds. So that precipitation is when the clouds get heavy enough and then drops its water. That water then runs down to bodies of water, and the cycle then starts all over again. So I hope that you understand those 6 lessons and that you will do very good in your exams.